Hi guys, John the Firearms Instructor, and today we're going to cover the ATF's new ruling on pistol braces. And it's pretty scary if you think about it. Now, I'm not an attorney, and what I'm giving you today, I've got information from attorneys I've talked to, and I've watched a bunch of YouTube attorneys, and they're giving me the same information. I didn't want to go in and just tell you something without having some backing on it. I did not spend time reading the 3,000, 4,000 page, but I had people who I watched on YouTube that went through the whole thing, and they deemed what was important for me to get to you guys. And I just want to put it in my words, basically, because I think we need to dummy it down a little bit because there's a lot of terminologies here, but I want to make it simple and clean that if you have a pistol with a brace on it after April of some time, if it passes, you would be a felon. And that should scare you a little bit. What ATF has put together is, oh, by the way, I have a piece of paper here with all this information on there. I didn't want to do this without having it all written down for me, for I didn't miss anything, miss any important information. So if you see me looking down and up at the camera, you know what I'm doing. All right, ATF, DOJ, and administration have put together a new brace rule. It's called 2021 R8, and this thing deems a brace like what you see on these two items right here. That a brace was designed in the beginning for someone who was, the first braces were brought out for the military guys that had lost an arm, that they could put the brace on their arm and shoot a weapon one-handed, and it was deemed legal at that point in time. Then there were other manufacturers that turned in the ATF their designs, and they deemed them legal. And as it went on, they were legal. They had a fight many years ago on the braces, and they were deemed legal again. Now, what they're trying to do is come out with a new ruling saying they are illegal. What does that mean? That means every brace that's on a weapon, whether it be a Roni like this or any short-barreled, something below 16 inches, with a pistol brace, deemed illegal, and you cannot have it on there anymore. And this is pretty scary to think about. They can overnight turn millions and millions and millions of people that have these items felons. And you ask yourself, how can they do that? Because an alphabet business like the ATF, they make their own rules. Now, how they make their own rules, not being a rule industry people, but I have no idea. I'm just telling you what I know at this point in time. And the ATF has put together this ruling with the DOJ, and they have deemed these illegal because people are shouldering them versus cheeking them. The brace was never meant to go on the shoulder. It was meant to go on the cheek or wrap around the arm like that. Now, if even ATF at one time said if the brace momentarily touches your shoulder, it's okay, but if you have it on your shoulder continuously, then it's considered a stock, and that stock itself would not be able to touch your shoulder. You can't use a brace to touch your shoulder. Well, that's the ruling and everything else like that. So, ruling is coming out on December the 28th. It says the following, that they deemed this illegal, and if you have it on there, you're breaking the law. So what can you do if you have a brace, an AR platform or a 9mm with a brace? The ATF has come up with 5 things that you can do. Number 1, you can remove the brace. Now, in my opinion, if you take that brace off, and there is a tube that allows that brace to adjust, because there are adjustable braces, I think you'd still have a little bit of problem, in my opinion. But if you change the tube out to a round circular tube with no way of putting an adjustable brace on there, I deem that would probably be the easiest thing to do, and so does everybody else. They think take the brace off, and that solves the problem, because the ATF is looking at weapons with braces on there. If you have a pistol with no brace on there, you're not even being looked at. All right. Number 2, they say you can extend the barrel. Put a 16-inch barrel on your brace gun, on your pistol. At that point in time, you no longer have a short barrel on there. But if you're going to do that, why wouldn't you just put a regular rifle stock on there and make it a rifle, not a pistol? We understand what the pistols are about. They're shorter, confined spaces. They're easy to use. You may have someone that doesn't have the strength to hold a full 16-inch barrel. That's why you put a 10-inch barrel. It all depends on what you want to do. There's no deemed reason why you want the AR or the 9mm short barrel. That's up to you. But the ATF sees it as a short barrel rifle, which is a challenge for us. Number 3, the ATF says you can destroy it. We'll leave that to where it is. Number 4, they say you can turn it in. Again, hey, thanks ATF, but I think I paid hard money for it. I'm not turning it in. And number 5 is you can turn it into an SBR. Now this is where it gets a little tricky, because the ATF has laid out this form. It's called a 4999 form, and it's an amnesty form. And amnesty says that you have broke the law, but we're going to forgive you. Did you break the law? Why are they forgiving us? And amnesty says if you meet certain requirements, you can still keep it on there. But if you get 4 points or more, and this 499 is a scoring form, and if you meet more than 4 points on this scoring form, they consider it an SBR. And at that point in time, you will need to pay the tax stamp. You will not be able to touch the weapon or put it together at all until you get your tax stamp in the mail. Now, we all know how quick the federal government works when it comes to tax stamps now, with suppressors up to a year on some of that stuff. Do you really want to wait that long to get your paperwork? And on top of that, you're going to have to fill out a Form 1 and a Form 4, which makes that gun registrable registered at that point in time. The gun is registered. We live in Florida. We don't have gun registration in the state of Florida. I'm not sure you want to register a gun if you wanted to, but at that point in time, you'd have to register it. Now, that is their idea of the 5 things you can do. Now, I don't believe that this is going to pass. I think it's going to be fought. Texas, Florida, all the places, all over the world. Think about all the people who have brace guns. There are many, many gun manufacturers are going to fight this. There's a ton of stuff. I don't think it's going to pass, but I just want to make sure you got your head around it. So in my opinion, if you have a brace at home at this point in time on an AR, I would remove it. If it has adjustable stock, adjustable buffer tube, I will remove that buffer tube itself and put on a slick circle buffer tube with a foam pad on it where you won't have any problems. Do you need to do that? I don't know if you do or not, but I would still, if they were standing in front of you, why is that on there? Why is this adjustable stock on there if you're not putting adjustable stock on there? So we don't want to have any problems with any government agency on a weapon in our home. So in my opinion, what's that going to do? The Ronies themselves deemed illegal. You know, the 2 things on the 4999 form that I think are interesting. The first 2 is the weapon is a weapon over 64 ounces, which is 4 pounds, which would deem you a point if it is, or under. And then on top of that, it gives you a size limit, 12 inches to 28 inches. If it's under 12 inches and over 28 inches, and it's in that middle line there, you would get a point for that as well. So you're 2 points before you even start the form. So in my opinion, SBR is not the way to go. But if you're going to SBR it, why would you leave a brace on there? Why wouldn't you put a stock on there? That's totally up to you, what you want to do. That's all there is to it. All I wanted to do is give you this information. People have been asking about it. They've been coming to me about it. And I'm concerned about it myself because owning a gun store, I'm not bringing any brace guns in at this point in time because I would feel terrible if I sold something to somebody and at the end of it, it deemed it illegal at one point or another. So if you'd like to learn more, there's going to be a link to the full law as it sits right now. It's being re-advised multiple times, but we're going to put a link in our bio down below. That'll give you the information you need. Until next time, guys, God bless, be safe, and remember, you are your first line of defense. We'll see you, folks.